Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to session 13 of question answer series. So today we will be talking about question number 121 to 130. And our topic is again leading product management team. And we will be talking about motivation and personality testing today. Right. I hope you could see my screen. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, Amar.
Yes.
Yes, you're good.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's start. Okay. So today, as I mentioned, we will be talking about leading product management team, part 2. And in leading product management team, we will be discussing motivation and personality testing, right? So this is part of people domain. Along with agile, people domain is equally important for exams. So that's why we are focusing on people domain. It covers 42% of the exam, okay? All right, so I'll show you question again for 60 seconds. You'll answer directly to me in the chat window, and then we will be discussing. Okay, let's start with question number 121. Your time starts now. All right, I request everyone to please answer, okay? If you are in the call, try answering. There is nothing right and wrong answer. Okay, I can see different options. So that's why, understanding these concepts is important. So we hear these concepts. For example, in session, we discuss this, but we couldn't understand it properly or how actually it is applied. So this is very important. So I can see option C. Gaganpreet, you have chosen option C. Why? Am I audible? So Gaganpreet, you have chosen option C. Why?
Yes, Amar, actually, I have chosen it because I think need of McClelland theory says that need of achievement for any person, the achievement is more motivational as compared to other factors like salary and other process like their
All
promotion.
right. Isn't it any other theory? Okay, so Chinamis, you have chosen option B. Why?
Honestly, I didn't want to answer, but you said we should all answer. So B sounds better to me. So that's why I chose B. I don't know.
It looks better. Okay. Right. So I think probably this is the easiest question, but since we don't understand it during the session that way, so no worries. Mary, you have chosen option A. Why?
Well, because everyone has need, three types of needs, but one is always dominant. So always one has more domination than
All
other.
right, so correct. So McClelland's theory is very simple. It says there are three types of needs. and one type of need dominant other type of needs at any one point in time. This is simple. This is the simplest PMP question. Like there is no trick, there is no twist, right? Very easy and basic question, right? So if we read the answer, so it says humans are motivated by three types of needs, with one typically being dominant at any point in time, right? So this is correct answer. So this is a simple definition of motivation theory. So sometimes you'll see such questions as well, where basic concepts are tested. Why? Because we hear words, but we don't understand the practical application. So please pay attention when you read anything, pay attention to it. All right, let's move to question number 122. All right, so I can see different answers. Alan, you have chosen option C. Why? Could you first explain what is Herzberg's two factors theory? What is that?
Yeah, Herzberg's theory is where people is motivated by the facilities, by the by money, but sometimes when these environments are good, uh, also the people can be happy. So those are the two factors.
Okay, so why you have chosen option C?
Because I remember that the Herzberg mentioned those two factors, the hygienist, but also it is not all that the worker is looking for.
Okay. Anybody else? I can see Yusuf, you have chosen option C. Why?
Yeah, because the theory it has two main principles: it's the hygiene and what we call the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the hygiene is the most important thing here, because it's like in the concept of goes with more of salaries and
Mm-hmm.
work environment. This is a psychological safety, more of psychological safety issues related. So if you don't have this around you, motivations won't be there, in my opinion. So and based on that, satisfaction will not be there as well.
All right. Okay. So you're saying if work environment is not good, people would not be satisfied.
Sure.
Okay, all right. Chinamis, you're on mute.
So I know it has motivator factors and hygiene factors. Motivator factors are things like what the job is, achievements and stuff. Then hygiene are what aids to work, like the work environment and stuff like that. So, but I also know that the absence of motivator factors result in dissatisfaction in this theory. So I'm sure of that one. That's why I chose A.
All right, so let's talk about it. So Herzberg's two factors theory says there are two types of factors. So there was a traditional view that says if your motivation goes up or if your satisfaction goes up, it means dissatisfaction goes down. By any change in one of these factors, other would automatically adjust. You understand? If your dissatisfaction is going up, it means satisfaction is going down. Does it make sense or not? Is it clear, everybody? That was a traditional view. Herzberg, he challenged this view. He said, no. He said both are independent of each other, right? Dissatisfaction has nothing to do with satisfaction, and change in satisfaction has nothing to do with dissatisfaction. And there are two types of factors. One type of factors affect dissatisfaction. Those are called hygiene factors, like your salary, your perks, benefits, work conditions, your titles, right? All of these are your hygiene factors, and they affect dissatisfaction. They have nothing to do with satisfaction. On the other hand, the second type of factors are called motivators. Motivators are those that only affect satisfaction, and they have nothing to do with dissatisfaction, right? So two types of factors and two different indicators or characteristics. Now, the absence of motivator factors results in dissatisfaction among team members. This is wrong because motivators affect satisfaction. Motivators have nothing to do with dissatisfaction. Does it make sense or not? Having motivators like, what is motivators? Appreciation, acknowledgement. If you don't appreciate, if you don't acknowledge, it doesn't mean people would be dissatisfied. It means people won't be satisfied. You understand? So because it impacts only satisfaction. So option A is incorrect here. Now, if you look at option B, providing hygiene factors leads to increased satisfaction. So it says, if you increase hygiene factors, satisfaction would be improved. No, hygiene only deals with dissatisfaction. Hygiene has nothing to do with satisfaction. You understand? So again, this is gone. When hygiene factors are adequate, people will not be dissatisfied, neither they will be satisfied. Okay. Now, what does it say? It says if you only provide hygiene factors, what would happen? Dissatisfaction would go down, means people are not dissatisfied, but it doesn't mean people are satisfied. So correct answer is option C. When you provide hygiene, people are neither dissatisfied nor satisfied. You understand? If you provide both hygiene and motivators, then what would happen? Then people would not be dissatisfied and people would be satisfied. So correct answer is this one. Last one, the presence of motivator factors lower dissatisfaction. Again, no. Motivators have nothing to do with dissatisfaction. So simple. Motivators, they impact satisfaction. Hygiene, they impact dissatisfaction. I hope it is clear. Let's read the explanation. All right, I hope it is clear. This is very important for exam perspective, so please pay attention. Next question. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I can see different answers. So most of answers are A, because this is a misperception about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Since we study it like this, like it has, for example, that structure. So if you recall, we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and something like this, I guess. And we said there are 5 different levels. First is physiological, or bottom one is physiological, then safety and security. Then we said love and belongingness, then self-esteem, and last one, self-actualization. Now, this is a typical way of explaining Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it doesn't mean these hierarchies are fixed or the order is fixed. Order could vary from person to person. Maybe for somebody else, right now, the first need is safety and security, right? Maybe other needs are later. So order could vary. If we read the text of theory, it doesn't say the order is fixed or rigid. So option A is incorrect. If A is incorrect, it means D is also incorrect because D says order of need could be rigid or flexible. It can't be rigid. So D is also incorrect. C, order of needs is not relevant. It is very relevant. If you don't know the order of an individual, then you won't be able to manage that individual. So correct answer is B. Let's read the explanation. All right, I hope it is clear. So this is practical application, like when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, how practically it is applied. So order could vary depending upon situation or needs of individuals. Let's move to next question. All right, so Amandeep, you have chosen option D. Why?
Because Amar D mentions about basically the question asks that there are some professionals who are self-motivated, innovative, and some of them they need guidance. And the only option D talks about adjusting your management style to fit the specific needs of team members and demands. So a project manager would have to manage the less experienced with more guidance and let the self-motivated people work accordingly. So that's why I thought D is more suitable.
So I hope you all are clear, like theory X is micromanagement and theory Y is self-organizations or laissez-faire leadership style, if you recall, right? Now, Amandeep is saying you could do micromanagement as well, okay? So Alan, you have chosen option A. Why?
Yeah, I focus in in the statement that there are some members that require more guidance. So that is the reason that I choose the theory X, because it's focusing in review the work of the people.
All right, your voice is not clear, but what I could heard is like, what I could hear is, you said since people need some guidance, so that's where we need to use theory X. But probably that is not the right explanation. Okay, so correct answer is option D, as we have two different types of people. So we should use situational leadership style. According to needs of the situation, our leadership style should vary. And if some team members, they required guidance, they are new, they need direction. So that could be theory X, like we can do micromanagement. And some team members who are experienced, who are self-motivated, self-driven, for that, what we can do is we can go for theory Y, where there is self-organization and more autonomy and freedom to team members. So correct answer is answer T. Let's read the explanation. All right, I hope it is clear. Let's move to question number 125. All right, so I can see different answers. Amandeep, you have chosen option A. Why?
So option C and D, I felt like they're not appropriate for this. So I was confused between A and B. B is basically they're focusing primarily on the low score and provide targeted emotional intelligence training to the team member. So I feel like the question is asking how you can use the information through the test, like a team member who has less emotional stability, how we can use that information. So I thought option A would be appropriate because you can use that team member towards the project where emotional intelligence is not is less critical, basically. So that was my approach.
All right. Yusuf, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, because this is more of facilitator approach for you as a manager. It's not like you are still trying to keep the team together, but you don't. In the other options, it's like you're more of management phase. You're not a leader.
All right.
Here to have this impression from my side.
All right. So you're saying like other options are more like negative connotation. So the only positive one is B, where you are providing training, right?
Yeah, I look for the leader, facilitator leader. You are still within the team. You are not destroying it. You have to keep the integrity.
All right, makes sense. So Jashri, you have chosen option C. Why?
Yeah, the first two are concentrating on single individual's assessment or his personality being assessed. And even in the previous questions, we had discussed that we should not be concentrating on one team member's contribution or emotional things, rather than as a team's contribution as a whole, which will be more productive. And in line with this, C and D were quite applicable, but I'm not too sure on how I comment about D, so I went with C.
All right, but what you're saying is, So if I explain C is saying remove the team member and use this information as a justification, like you have removed team member because of this. So team's new composition or changing the team composition by removing a member, use it as a justification. But that is not right, as Yusuf mentioned. We cannot exclude anyone, right? So we cannot use this as a justification of removing somebody. So C can't be the right answer. Now, this is very important for you to understand. Like these personality tests, they're just indicators or one of the indicators. Based on these indicators, we do not make such decisions like removing a team member, assigning something else to a team member. There's a combination of indicators that we use, and then we try to understand the team's strengths and weaknesses. That's the idea. The idea is to understand if there are any conflicts that we can proactively handle, to understand if there are any risks associated with the team relevant to team synergies, team integration. We do not use these tests to remove any team member. We do not use these tests for any kind of change or in composition. We do not use these tests for any kind of judgment. These kind of tests are just used to understand team dynamics. Correct answer is this is not how the Big Five personality indicator is used. So none of the option is correct, right? So neither we change team dynamics, nor we remove any team member, and nor we judge team member just because of one of the indicators. There's a multiple test that we use. For example, if in one test person looks or gets lower score in one of the indicators, we perform another test to verify that, then another test. So after verification, then we reach a conclusion, and then it should be supported by the actual performance of the team member, not just based on these tests, because result of these tests could be false as well, right? So based on result of these tests, we cannot make such assumptions. Okay, let's read the explanation.
So just one clarity, Amar. By removing the team member is not specifically
Please
mentioned in
wait.
point C.
I'll come to that. Let's read the explanation. All right, so if I go back, so Jashri's point is that removing is not mentioned here. So it says use the assessment results to justify a decision to the stakeholders about changing the team's composition. What is meant by changing team composition? Changing team composition means you're adding somebody, you're removing somebody, right? That is changing the team composition. So that's what we do not do based on Big Five indicators. We do not change team composition based on this. It's just to understand team dynamics, and if there are serious risks associated with the team dynamics, we can address those proactively. Right, let's move to question number 126. All right, so I can see different answers. Yusuf, you have chosen option C. Why? Sensors and intuitives.
Actually, I don't have the concepts of all of these terms, so I could see. It's just I want to see how it will go. Sorry for that. I'm honest in that.
All right, no
I
problem.
have no problem with that.
No problem. Fahad, you have chosen option B.
Same as Yusuf, I'm having difficulty remembering what all these traits stand for. But if I remember correctly, judges and people who have an intuition tend to go for detail, and they are detail oriented, and they rely on routines and structures.
All right, so you see, it says you have a team member who is extremely detailed oriented and relies heavily on order and routine. So there are two, characteristics. One, detail oriented, conscientiousness, and second, routine and order. So there are two characteristics. So based on those two characteristics, you need to find the right personality type. So you have chosen judging, but what is meant by intuitive? Intuitive is something else. Intuitive means focusing on big picture. So let's see how the personality, these different indicators are defined. So if you look at this, we have 8 indicators: extrovert, so versus introvert, sensors versus intuitives, thinkers versus feelers, and judges versus perceivers, right? Now, in our question, it says the persons are detail oriented and prefer routine. So let's find detail oriented. So you can see detail oriented here. And they follow what? They follow routine, prefer structure, like to plan, and disciplined, right? So people with a sensing preference typically focus on detail and concrete information. So means these are sensors. They are more comfortable with routine and order. So those with a judging preference like to live a planned and organized manner. So plan and organizes this. So if I go back, correct answer is this one, right? So this is widely used as you should have understanding how these different indicators are defined. So normally when we say, okay, MBTI, right? MBTI is something like that, you can define it, but actually understanding these different 8 characteristics is very important for exam. Right, so correct answer is A. Let's move to next question. All right, so Chinamis, you have chosen option B. Why?
Yeah, I just did elimination. It looks like the more sensible thing for me to do here. Like you talked about the other one, the application of this is to be able to understand the individuals, their characters, and be able to predict potential conflicts and how you can mitigate them if you understand the individuals in your team.
All right. Amandeep, you have chosen option D. Why?
I guess this is more towards like helping individuals to be more self-aware, and it helps team members to work better together. Like the most effective way of applying this technique or this information.
All right.
Instead, yeah.
Right. Jashri?
So this looks to be quite common or the most effective way, Amar. Looking at the MBTI results and predicting the potential conflicts and preparing strategies to mitigate them looks to be the most effective, because the first one, assigning tasks to team members based solely on their MBTI results to ensure maximum comfort and productivity, that is not so applicable. I think B is the best thing.
Okay, so you have removed A because it says assign tasks solely on basis of this is okay, so makes sense. Anybody else? I can see Shazman, you have chosen option D. Why?
Yes, option A and B are obviously not the right choices, because we don't make, as we discuss, decisions based on these models. Then option C and D remains. Option C suggests that we share result of these models with each other, which I don't think is the right option. So I went with option D to help
Perfect.
individuals develop self-awareness and to help.
Absolutely. So we can remove option A because we cannot solely rely on this. We can remove option B because we don't look for potential conflicts just because of that. Third option is wrong because of privacy concerns, we do not share results with all the team members, right? It's individual's personality we can just share with them. Correct answer is option D, to help individual develop self-awareness and to help teamwork better together. Now there's a typo in the answer. Don't go with that. Correct answer is D. Read the explanation, okay? All right, so the purpose of these tests is to understand or enhance self-awareness, okay? Let's move to next question. All right, so Amandeep, you have chosen option B. Why?
So the question says that this happened, like Alex, who is being assigned just the basic task. It happened only because there were preconceived notions about his abilities. So there's nothing talk about discrimination or cultural bias, and I don't think it's because of lack of emotional intelligence. So I thought of the only option left for me was B, stereotyping.
All right. Fahad, you have chosen option D. Why?
Yes, I thought they were discriminating against him, but now that I've heard this other explanation, yeah, that makes sense, because they have preconceived notions of his abilities. They might be stereotyping.
Now, this is what I explained in almost every session. There could be more than one right answers, but you have to choose the relevant answer according to the question. So yes, there is discrimination, but there is more specified answer, which is better than discrimination. So if you look at the question, it says they have preconceived notion or understanding about Alex's abilities. So preconceived understanding or some presumption that is called stereotyping, right? So option B is correct answer. It could be because of cultural bias, but we don't know. It could be because of lack of emotional intelligence, but we don't know. There's nothing in the question, right? It could be discrimination, but the more specific answer is it's stereotyping that leads to discrimination. So discrimination is affect. What is being explained, which concept is being explained, that is stereotyping. Okay. Right. Next question. Please read the explanation, then we'll move to next question. All right. 129. All right, so I think we discussed this question in session 11, I guess, where we talked about a couple of team members are removed. So what would happen if some of the team members are removed? It means team dynamics would remain same more or less. But here in this question, if you see, it says half of the team members are replaced, project manager is being replaced, team is going to significant changes. So in this situation, what would happen when you have half of the team members new, team goes through a lot of new changes, and project manager has changed, organizational restructuring has been done. So the right answer is team would go back to the forming stage, right? Let's read the explanation. All right, I hope it is clear. Last question. All right, Amandeep, you have chosen option D. Why? You're on mute.
Sorry, I was confused between C and D. Firstly, I thought D was the answer, but now I believe C is the right answer. After reading the question, it seems like one is like the formal long-standing employee has filed a formal complaint with their immediate supervisor, having unsuccessful attempts, which means they have tried to resolve it, but they couldn't. So it means they would have to report directly to their department head. So I recommend that the long-standing employee escalate the complaint to their department head.
So let's try to understand the dynamics. What's happening here? You are the project manager. You have number of team members. Two of the team members, they have conflict. And they talk to their immediate supervisors within your team, right? They have talked to them. They have tried to escalate the issue. They have reported it formally, but they couldn't solve it. Next is you. Then comes the departmental head, and then comes the HR department. So that's the simple hierarchy, right? So first you try to solve the problem within the team. If you're not able to solve it, then you move to other avenues, like you escalate the issue. So whenever there is a conflict, the very first option should be to avoid escalation. So it's not like that whenever there is a conflict, just escalate it. So if I have a conflict with Chinamese, let's suppose, the very first thing, what should I do? I should try to solve the conflict with Chinamese first. If it doesn't work, then I need to talk to my supervisor, whoever is within the team. Then I need to talk to project manager if project manager is my supervisor. Then if it is not resolved, then I should go to my departmental head, because if I'm working in a functional matrix organization. If that doesn't work, I need to go to HR for formal reporting of the conflict. Now, in this problem, what's happening, team members, they have tried to solve it, but they're not able to do that. Now it's project manager's responsibility to solve the problem, solve the conflict. If project manager is not able to resolve the conflict, then the third option is escalation to the outside of the team dynamics. So option A, directly intervene and mediate the conflict between the two team members. That's project manager's job. Advise the new hire to submit a formal complaint to HR. I mean, why you are advising to new hire without knowing anything? So it doesn't make any sense. Like, why you're not advising to the experienced person? Why you're advising to the person who has recently joined? So it doesn't make sense. Recommend that long-standing employee escalate the complaint to their director. It makes sense because long-standing employee tried to solve the problem, but it didn't resolve. So now the next option is escalate. But before escalation, you need to intervene. So option C is incorrect, because if you haven't contributed yet, you cannot ask for or suggest for escalation. Last one is arrange for an immediate team meeting. So option or conflict between two team members, there is no need of team meeting for that, right? So correct answer is option A. Intervene, mediate, try to solve the problem. If it doesn't work, then go for external avenues. So let's read the explanation. All right, I hope it is self-explanatory. So what you need to do is whenever you go through these questions, please go back, review them again. You have recordings of all the sessions, write them down, and do some analysis, like where you're performing well, where you're not performing well. Read those topics again. For example, if you're not sure about MBTI, go back, read it again. If you're not sure about theory X and theory Y, go back and read it again. If you're not sure how Maslow's hierarchy of needs work, go back and read it. When you read it, you'll get better understanding. Review your notes as well. So just participating in these sessions and answering some of the questions, some of them would be right, some of them would be wrong. This could partially help you, but if you really want to benefit from these sessions, reflect on whatever your answers are. So when you answer, write down your answers, like this was correct, this was right. So for example, you write Maslow's hierarchy of needs wrong, so that you need some more understanding regarding this. So please go back, reflect on your learning. This is how you will continuously improve. Meanwhile, if you need any kind of help, don't hesitate to schedule one-on-one meeting with me. If you need any help in application, you can contact me or in any way in which I could help you in your exam preparation. I hope you all have enjoyed this session. This would be really helpful for you. So I'll see you all on Monday with some interesting topics similar to leading project management team, because we are right now focusing on people domain of project management. And I think next topic is virtual teams. So if you want to prepare before the session, so read about virtual teams and virtual team dynamics. So session 14 would be about virtual teams. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night. Take care of yourself. See you on Monday. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.